Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It is early June here in Minnesota, and the last time you saw my garden, I had just finished planting it. We had a chilly week following the planting. Nothing really was coming up, and then we had a really hot, dry week, and things were starting to germinate. And then the last few days, it's been perfect. Not too hot, not too cold, and we've had a lot of good light but consistent rain. I have not been up in the garden for a couple days here, and I have not walked through here yet, and I want to walk through with you guys and we'll kind of see what we're dealing with. I came up here with the intention of doing a ton of weeding and a ton of replanting. So let's walk through, see what we have. I will start with saying I have already harvested some radishes. I've already harvested basil. I think that's it. But there are a couple cool things I'm really excited to show you. Some new things in my garden that is my first experience with are doing really well, and I'm super excited. So let's go check it out. The very first thing we have is our raspberry bushes are doing great. I'm super excited for what these are gonna do. They have so many new canes producing. It's very exciting. And then over here, this bush is looking like it's going to be our heavy producer. And like I said, I have a lot of weeding to do, but look at all those extra canes coming up. Isn't that cool? You can see all the weeds that I need to weed out here, but none of my cucumbers have come up. Oh, I lie. There's one tiny little one that finally germinated after a few weeks. So that's one of my slicers, but all of these, nothing. One cucumber out of this entire row has come up. So I will be heavily replanting those. All these weeds are milkweed, and I'm leaving them. The weeds that I will leave in my garden bed are volunteer plants, milkweed unless it's interfering with the plants, and some clover that I'll show you later. But here's some, I think these are zucchini, and volunteer dill are everywhere per usual. Looks like I will have to replant that one. More zucchini. Here's another zucchini. I have to get all these grasses out of here. This squash is doing really well. It's already putting on a third leaf here. I think these are patty pans now. Ooh, this one's beautiful. And looks like I'll have to replant this one. Maybe I will try to transplant one of these big boys. Well, there's a couple good ones there. We'll see. Some of my strawberry plants that I moved are not doing super well. That one is done for. These ones have a few that I haven't moved are doing well. They have a few strawberries starting. And look at what we have here. They're turning red. Some more baby strawberries on there. It's almost ready. Exciting. That one's doing well. These could be better, but it is what it is. These French radishes are so cool. I'm gonna have to harvest these. These are huge. Huge. My gosh. I'm gonna have to harvest these today. Here's some yellow squash that's coming up really well. More milkweed. More squash. More milkweed. I'm really glad this yellow squash is doing well. Look at all that milkweed. No squash there. I'll have to replant that one. And looks like this one is trying very hard, but not quite doing great. This clover patch, look at how massive that is. It grows back here every year, and I just let it get crazy. How beautiful is that? This was supposed to be my chives, but that's just a bunch of weeds. I don't know what to expect from chives. I think I'm just gonna plant radishes in here. And if I get random chive plants come up next year, then I do. And in here was supposed to be beets, but I don't know that I've seen any signs of beets. Never grown beets before. I'm told they have a red stem and a heart-shaped leaf, but I don't really see that anywhere. So there's some dill. So maybe we'll just do radishes in here too. Here on these trellises are runner beans, pole beans. Some of them have come up, some of them haven't. So I'm gonna have to replant some of these. Like none of these came up on this side. And it's really hard to see through all the weeds. But the middle part of this bed was supposed to be green beans, bush beans, and some of them are coming up. There's another one here, but we have sunflowers volunteering everywhere. Look at all those sunflowers volunteering over here. So they are gonna shade out the green beans. There's no green beans in this row. Here's one green bean in this row. And I think some of these plants are marigolds. Here's another nice sunflower. I'm not tearing those out. So I think it's just gonna have to be a sunflower bed forever, honestly. And then we got some of these pole beans coming up. Some more pole beans coming up over here. A giant thistle that I need to take out. More radishes. Some of these are the round radishes. But some of them are fingerlings. I had overplanted because I didn't see anything coming up. And now there's double radish in there. More radishes, plenty of dill. We'll have to check on these radishes and see what we got. I think we got some decent ones, but they're gonna bolt soon, so I'm gonna need to take these out. This bed I planted a bunch of zinnias, and they are coming up, but they're just really slow going. They germinated super fast, so I thought they would be great by now, but they're just very small right now. And then I planted sunflowers in these rows, and they're not coming up. I have a ton of sunflowers in my bed I planted green beans volunteering, but none where I planted. A few small ones. So I'm not sure if I plant green beans here instead and let the sunflowers across the way go. Maybe I do that. And I was supposed to get beets over here too. But again, maybe that's a beet? No, it can't be a beet. I don't see any signs of beets. But again, we have dill, so it's a really good dill plant. So I'll probably just plant radishes in here too. I apologize for the videography. I did not grab my tripod. I should have. I came up here to work. I'm kid-free for a couple hours, so I should have grabbed my tripod to set up so you could watch me weed. There's a few more things I want to show you. I just wanted to throw that disclaimer in there that I apologize for the terrible, terrible videotaping. My potatoes, look at them. How cool. They're coming up everywhere. They loved this last rain. It's working. It is working. How cool is this? How cool is it? There's a bunch coming out on the sides. Ah! And my onions, guys. I grew these for the greens. But there's some of them that have really large bulbs growing. So I think I might grow some of them for onions and some of them for greens. But look at how cool that is. My peppers are doing well. Finally getting established nice. I already harvested a lot of basil. That's green onion. That one lone volunteer green onion is massive. I should pull that. And then my green stalk over here, I planted all of these, I think they're petunias, right? And I planted lettuce in all of these individual cups that are open, but I don't see anything coming up. No lettuce at all. So I am not sure what to do with that. I've never had that problem, lettuce not germinating. So there you have it. I'm going to replant all my cucumbers. I'm going to replant some squash. I'm going to replant some beans. I'm going to replant a bunch of radishes. Ooh, bug got me. Harvest radishes. Do some weeding. And yeah, see how much stuff I can get done until my kids come back. Hey guys, it is the next afternoon. I am exhausted. Oh, hey, look. I just found it in my pocket. I found a couple radishes in my pocket. Again, sorry for the poor videoing. Today's another day that I've been in the garden. As you can see by how red I am. I was at the beach earlier today as well with my kids. But I've been in the garden for the last hour and a half, 2 hours. I didn't record anything. I apologize. First thing I did when I got up here is I ate the most delicious strawberry ever. There's one more that's about ready to go, but I'm going to save that for another day or two. And then I pulled almost all of the radishes. So we have a good radish dinner to have one of these days. There's still some in the ground, and then I forgot some. So, hence the radish, pocket radishes. Anyways, and then the next thing I did is I went through all of the things that I know I needed to replant. So I got the cucumbers replanted. There was 2 plants out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Out of 10 cucumber plants that I planted, 3 different varieties, only 2 of the same variety germinated. So I replanted all those very heavily in hopes that they will germinate. And then I only had to replant 3 or 4 squash plants, so I did that. And then I replanted my beans. I also planted beans in that middle bed that I talked about the sunflowers taking over. I replanted beans there, my bush beans, and then I plugged in a couple of the runner beans that weren't coming up. And then I also planted beans over where I planted sunflowers earlier in the year. And the sunflowers there are not coming up very well. So I planted the beans there as well. So we hopefully will have a lot of beans this year. And then I went through and replanted whatever radish seeds I had left. I didn't have enough to replant as much as I would have liked. And then those French breakfast radishes that I planted for the first time this year. My arm is so sore. I have to figure out a way to hold this phone. Oh, it's my bad shoulder anyway. I had to, those radishes did very well in the hot weather. So I'm just gonna keep planting those and hopefully they do well in the hot weather. And then I replanted beets. So I have been pulling beets, I think, thinking they were weeds, because I've been looking for a red stem, but I forgot I planted golden beets, not red beets or purple beets. So yeah, I found some that are still alive. I will show you what those look like. And then I replanted all those, weeded the beds out really good, and then replanted seeds to hopefully get some golden beets this year. Whoopsies. Also, I replanted my chives. I don't know if we're going to get anything from those. I don't know if I've been pulling chives or not, but chives they look a lot like green onions. So I think I had that in mind when I was weeding that bed, and I don't think I ever saw them. But I did plant those when there was chilly, and I think those are a pretty warm weather crop. So yeah, I replanted the chives, the beets, more radishes, both the runner beans and bush beans in 2 different areas. All 3 of my squash that needed to be replanted, and then all 3 of my cucumbers that needed to be replanted. The only thing I did not replant was my lettuce. That's not coming up in my green stock yet. But I planted those pretty late, so I'm going to give that a minute before I worry about replanting, because nothing is coming up. So I'm thinking I'm just going to wait a little bit longer on that. Also, I did harvest my one lone green onion that volunteered this spring. I harvested that with my radishes. I'll show you a picture of my harvest here. Is it just me, or did these potatoes get massive since yesterday? Like absolutely massive. I think they got really big. My green onion's still looking, or my regular onion's still looking good. Peppers have loved this weather today. They're starting to flower. They were flowering when I planted them out, but I obviously pulled the heads because we didn't need that. They needed to focus on their roots, but now we'll let them go. My basil is already starting to come back again, and I just harvested off that. These flowers are looking pretty, but yeah, I have no sign of lettuce coming up, so we're just gonna wait. Some of these cucumbers are still, or strawberries are still working on it. This is my one I'm gonna wait a little bit longer on. Let's see. I replanted squash there. And here. And then I replanted all of these cucumbers. This is one that was already coming up. And this one looks like it's trying to. Tiny little seedling popping up here, you see? So I'm just gonna leave that one. Hopefully that one comes up. And then there was another one there. This is where I planted more beets. I planted more beans here because the sunflowers aren't coming up very well. My zinnias have also loved this warm weather and being weeded out, I think. I thinned out these radishes quite a bit. This bed still has quite a bit in it though. Yeah, so those will probably start going to seed because there's some pretty big leaves on them, but not very big bulbs. So those will probably end up going to seed. Got some good dill in there though. I cleared these out pretty good, but there's still some in here that I left. Like I like these little breakfast ones. They're so cute. Little finger ones. They're so much more milder. We sampled them in the house already. They are much more mild than the round ones. My beans are doing okay on this side. I planted more bush beans in the middle here. Some of these sunflowers are getting pretty big already. Just from yesterday, I feel like there's been so much growth with the couple days of rain we had and now the hot day. I replanted those beans in that middle one. And then I replanted beets here. So these are what the beets are going to be looking like when they come up. Let's see this guy, the yellow stem. That's what they're going to be looking like. And I had been pulling them out, I think. There was a ton of weeds in here that I just pulled, so it uprooted these pretty heavily. So I have a few going on in here and then a lovely dill. A few, but I replanted the rest. And then over here, I pulled all the weeds and I just replanted chives. So now I have to go through and water everything. I don't think we're getting any rain tomorrow. Hopefully not, because my husband really needs to get out in the field and do some cultivating. And then the next few days after that, we're supposed to get more rain. So we've gotten here at this property 3/4 of an inch in the last 2 days, which isn't crazy. It was been a nice steady rain though. It was very much needed. It had been very hot and dry. And then out at my in-laws property, we got a bunch more, which is where he needs to be cultivating. So unfortunate, you can't win with farming. You ask for rain so much and then you get it and then you're like, stop it, too much rain. There's just no happy medium. So far the garden's loving it. The garden needed it. But I do have to water those seeds in because it has been hot and crispy today. So the top soil is fairly dry. So I'm going to get those watered in quick. And I think I'm probably going to call it a day for the garden. I've done a lot. I got a lot of my weeding done on Friday. Finished it up today. yeah, I'm really excited. It's hard not to be a little discouraged when things don't come up, and I don't know that I would have planted any differently. I think I probably planted a little too early. We probably had a couple chilly nights there, but I also was using a lot of old seeds, so combination of both maybe, but I don't think I would have done anything differently. But yeah, so if anything, I just have some plants being succession sowed unintentionally, but that's okay. So I'm probably gonna wrap this video up, but thanks for hanging out with us, and we'll see you next time.